ஆழ்வார் திருவடிகளே சரணம், எம்பெருமானார் திருவடிகளே சரணம், பிள்ளைலோக்காச்சாரியார் திருவடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். We are seeing the meanings for Mumukshupadi. Pillalokacharya mercifully gave Mumukshupadi and many other Rahasya Granthams. These are filled with the most important principles which are foundational for our Sampradayam. For Mumukshupadi, we have the beautiful commentary of Manavala Mamunigal, Sri Varavaramani Swami. With the help of this wonderful commentary, we are now going through the meanings for this beautiful Grantham. As of now, we have seen up to the 94th Sutram. We are seeing in the first Prakaranam the meaning for Tirumantram. Mumukshupadi is a detailed explanation for Rahasyatrayam. Rahasyatrayam consists of Tirumantram, which is Ashtaksharam, Dvaya Mahamantram and Charamashloka. These three make up Rahasyatrayam. Of these, Tirumantram is considered as the foremost and the primary one. Tirumantram clearly explains the relationship between Jivatma and Paramatma, and it also further explains that Bhagavan is the only Rakshaka, protector, refuge. And finally, Tirumantram also explains that the true activity for Jivatma is to serve that Bhagavan without any expectation, without any desire for the self. So this is the basic meaning, simple meaning of Tirumantram, and this Tirumantram is explained in the first Prakaranam of Mumukshupadi. And beginning of the first Prakaranam, Pillalokacharya explained the greatness of Tirumantram, and then he started explaining the Tirumantram part by part. There are three sections in Tirumantram, that is Pranavam, Namaha and Narayanaya. Of these three sections, Pranavam and Namaha are explained so far. Up to this 94th Sutram, we have seen up to Namaha. Now we are going to see the meaning for Narayanaya. Let us start with the 95th Sutram. Pillalokacharya's Taniyan is Lokacharyaye Gurave Krishna Padasya Sunave Samsara Bhogi Sandashta Jiva Jivatave Namaha. Pillalokacharya has given the medicine for all of the Atmas who are bitten by this snake of samsara. The medicine he has given is in the form of his Granthams, and with those Rahasya Granthams he clearly enlightens everyone who is desirous to become enlightened. With that, let us start today's session, and we will proceed with the 95th Sutram first. Manavala Mamunigal in the introduction section says, subsequently Pillalokacharya is mercifully explaining the meaning for the word Narayana, starting with Narayanan Endrathu. So 95th Sutram is Narayanan Endrathu நாரங்களுக்கு அயனம் என்றபடி. simple meaning for this sutram is Narayana means one who is the abode of all the entities, all the eternal entities. That is the simple meaning. We will see how it is explained with the help of Mamunigal's commentary. Mamunigal explains in the commentary, that is, the word Narayana is explained in two ways. One is using Tatpurusha Samasam and the other way is using Bahuvrihi Samasam. This is based on Sanskrita grammar. The Narayana is a combined word. It is a combination of two words. There is Nara and then there is Ayana. When these two words are combined, we get Narayana. That is based on the grammatical rules. This Nara and Ayana, when joined, it becomes Narayana. They become Narayana as a single word. Now, when we have these combined words, they are explained in different viewpoints. That is, Samasam is the method which helps the combination. For example, there are different types of Samasams. Here only two of them are highlighted. There is Tatpurusha Samasam and Bahuvrihi Samasam. Tatpurusha Samasam means when two words are combined, one of those words, that is, the word in the end, will have prominence. The focus will be on that particular word. And Bahuvrihi Samasam means two words are joined, but the meaning will be focusing on something which is outside these two words. So these are two different ways of joining two words. One is Tatpurusha Samasam and other is Bahuvrihi Samasam. And they are explained here. The Tatpurusha Samasam explanation is Naranam Ayanam Yaha Saha Narayanaha. This explanation, Naranam Ayanam Yaha Saha Narayanaha, is based on Tatpurusha Samasam. Here it says that Narayana means the one who is the abode for all the collections of eternal entities. Naranam means collection of eternal entities. Ayanam means abode. So where the one who is the abode for all the eternal entities is called Narayana. So that is the Tatpurusha Samasa way of explaining Narayana word. Then there is Bahuvrihi, that is Naraha Ayanam Yasya Saha Narayanaha. In this Bahuvrihi, it is explained that in this way, in this particular Bahuvrihi way of joining the two words, Naraha Ayanam Yasya Saha Narayanaha. That is, Narayana is the one who is present or who is having all of the entities, all of the collections of entities as his abode. That person is Narayana. So these two ways of viewing the word Narayana leads to two different explanations for this particular Narayana. So the first explanation is Narayana is the Bhagavan who is the abode of all the entities. So here, as per Tatpurusha Samasam, Nara Ayana, Ayana is the focus here. Ayana means the one who is the abode. And in the Bahuvrihi Samasam, Naraha, Ayanam, Yasya Saha, Narayanaha. There, all of the entities are there, and they are said as the abode for Bhagavan, Narayana. So, these two views are present based on the two different samasam. So, this is the explanation for this 95th sutram, where Narayana, actually in this 95th sutram, Pillalokacharya starts explaining the first Tatpurusha samasam way of interpretation, way of explanation, and 96th sutram is the continuation of that. Let us see the introduction for 96th sutram. So here there is a question which arises: who are the entities, eternal entities? What are the eternal entities? And for that, Pillalokacharya mercifully explains, Narangalavana Nitya Vastukkalunuடைய Thiral. That is the sutram, 96th sutram. Narangalavana Nitya Vastukkalunuடைய Thiral. So here he is saying, simple meaning is, Nara, that is here Naraha, that is the plural for collection. Collection of entities, the plural for that is Naraha. So that Naraha is the collection of eternal entities. So that is the simple meaning here. Manavada Mamnigal beautifully breaks it down and explains. If we go through the commentary, we will have a better understanding of this. So here, how this Narapadam, the word Nara, is constructed is explained by Manavada Mamnigal in the commentary. So Narapadam, this word Nara, Padam means word, this Nara should be seen as Nara, Nara, Naraha. So there are three levels. Here, as per the Dhatu, Rinkshaye, so this Ra is the starting point. We saw Nara, right? So for that, Ra is the starting point. This Ra is based on the Dhatu, Rinkshaye, that is, that which becomes destroyed, that which decays. That is the meaning for Ra. That is Rinkshaye. Shaya means decaying or getting destroyed. That Ra indicates element or entity which gets destroyed. Nara means nishedam of that. That is saying that the entity which doesn't get destroyed. That means it is eternal. So Nara is the first term. So Nara means the entity which does not get destroyed, which is eternal. And then there is Nara. Nara is the collection of Nara. Collection or group of Nara. Group of eternal entities is known as Nara. And then when that Nara becomes Naraha, that is indicating collection of group of entities. So there is group of entities and a collection of that group, that is called Naraha. So this is how this term Naraha is built, because we are seeing Naraha, Ayanam, Yasya Naranam, Ayanam, Yaha Saha Narayanaha. That is what we are seeing first. It is the same in the other case also. Naraha is constant. Naraha, Ayanam, Yasya Saha Narayanaha. That is also having Naraha only. So this Naraha is to be understood clearly. Ra means any entity which will get destroyed. Nara means eternal, that which does not get destroyed. Nara means group of eternal entities. Naraha means collection of group of entities. So this is the whole meaning for Nara, the word Nara. So here it is the plural of a group of entities. So that is why Pillalokacharya here says Nitya Vastukkalinudaya Thiral. Nitya Vastu means, basically Pillai Lokacharya beautifully has explained the whole Nara, Nara, Naraha in these two words. Nitya Vastu means, Vastu means Ra, Nitya Vastu means Nara, Nitya Vastukkal means Nara, Nitya Vastukkalinudaya Thiral means Naraha. So, Narangal Avana, Nitya Vastukkalinudaya Thiral itself is very, very cryptic, but it's giving out the whole meaning in this sutram itself. And Manawal Mamnigal has beautifully explained this construction of Naraha. So now we have seen the theory here. Now we have to understand it practically. 97th Sutram is a very big Sutram. We will probably cover that whole Sutram today. It's a elaborate commentary also. Let us see the introduction first. Tadrushangalanavai, that is, we have seen the explanation for Naraha. There is a question. Okay, what are those collection of group of entities, eternal entities? For that, Pillai Lokacharya lists out all of the entities here. That is, starting with Avayavana. So 97th Sutram is Avayavana. Jnanananda Amalatvadigalum, Jnana Shaktyadigalum, Vatsalya Shaushilyadigalum, Thirumeniyum, Kanti Saukumariyadigalum, Divya Bhushanangalum, Divya Ayudangalum, Periya Pirattiyar Todakkamana Naichimargalum, Nitya Surigalum, Chatra Chamaradigalum, Thiruvasal Kakkum Mudaligalum, Ganadiparum, Muktarum, Paramakashamum, Prakritiyum, Baddhatmakalum, Kalamum, மகதாதி விகாரங்களும் அண்டங்களும் அண்டத்துக்கு உட்பட்ட தேவாதி பதார்த்தங்களும். So here in this sutram, it's a big sutram, Pillai Lokacharya has compassionately listed out all the possible entities. Let us see the simple meaning first. Basically he is saying all the entities we can imagine in this world, and in Paramapadam, whatever we can learn from Shastram, he has listed all of them here. All of them are eternal entities. They are all present in Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the abode for all of these entities, all of these aspects. So he starts with Jnanananda Amalatvadigalum. So qualities such as Jnanam, Anandam, Amalatvam, qualities like that. And then Jnana Shaktiyadigalum. We are going to see the detailed commentary, but let us see the simple meaning first. Jnana Shaktiyadigalum. Other qualities such as Jnanam, Shakti, etc. And then Vatsalya Saushilyaadigalum. Other qualities such as Vatsalyam, Saushilyam, etc. Thirumeniyum, divine Vigraham, divine form of Bhagavan. And then Kanti Saukumariyadigalum. Other qualities such as his radiance, his softness, and so on. Divya Bhushanangalum, his ornaments, divine ornaments. Divya Ayudangalum, his divine weapons. Periya Pirattiyar Todakkamana Naichimargalum, his divine consorts. Starting with Periya Pirattiyar. Nitya Surigalum, the eternal associates of Bhagavan, who never separate from Bhagavan and always serve him. Chatra Chamaradigalum, the tools which are used in his service, like fan and so on. Thiruvasal Kakkum Mudaligalum. Chatra Chamara means umbrella, Chamara means the whisk or fan which is used for his service. And then Thiruvasal Kakkum Mudaligalum, those who care for his gates, the gatekeepers who serve him by guarding his gates. Ganadiparum Muktarum. Ganadipa means those who are heads of the servitors. There are groups of servants for Bhagavan, and there will be a chief or a head for those servitors, those devotees. Those persons are called Ganadipas, and they are highlighted here. And then Muktarum, Muktas, Muktatmas, those who are liberated, those who were in Samsaram before and reached Bhagavan, reached Paramapadam. Muktarum. Paramakashamum. Paramakasham means Paramavyomam, the supreme sky, which is Sri Vaikuntham, Paramapadam. And then Prakritiyum. Prakriti is Mula Prakriti, primordial matter. Now up to Paramakasham, that is Paramapadam, we have seen the Nitya Vibhuti. Nitya Vibhuti is the opulence, wealth of Bhagavan, which is eternal, which never changes, which is always present. So that is Nitya Vibhuti, Sri Vaikuntham. Everything which is in Sri Vaikuntham is identified up to here, Paramakasham. After that, Mula Prakriti, starting here, Pililokacharya is identifying the entities in the Leela Vibhuti, that is this material realm, material world. Prakritiyam, that is Mula Prakriti, primordial matter. This is the beginning stage of matter. Baddhatmakalum, all the Atmas who are bound, who are controlled in this material world. And then Kalam. Kalam is time. That is a separate entity, and that entity is highlighted here. Mahatadi, Vikarangalum, all the transformations of Mula Prakriti, that is primordial matter, into Mahat, Ahankaram, and then Manas, and the various other entities. And then Andangalum. Andangalum means the universes, oval shaped universes. Andathukutpatta Devadi Padarthangalum. Whatever the entities which are present inside the Andam, that is Deva, Manushya, Tiriyak, Stavara, and so on. Deva means celestial beings, Manushya means human beings, Tiriyak means birds and animals, Stavara means plants and immovable items. So all of these are put together the meaning for Naraha. So Naraha represents all of these. Now we are going to see Manavada Mamanigal's detailed commentary. Very nicely he narrates each one of the items. So let us see. First, Jnanananda Amalatvadi. So here, these are called as Swarupa Nirupaka Dharma. Swarupa Nirupaka Dharma means that which identifies a particular entity. So here, Bhagavan, Parabrahmam, is identified by these qualities such as Jnanam, Anandam, Amalatvam, and then there is Adi. Adi means etc. Here we have to add Ananta as one of the qualities, says Manavada Mamanigal in the commentary. So here, these are all the qualities of Bhagavan which is present on him. See, we have to remember that all of these entities are resting on Bhagavan. Bhagavan is holding all of these together. All of these entities. So Bhagavan is separate from all of these entities in the sense that he is the one who is holding all of them, but they are also inseparable from him. They are like Shariram, they are like Prakaram for him. This is the Sharira Shariri Bhavam, Prakara Prakari Bhavam. So we are going to see how it is, what are all the items which are being held by Bhagavan here. So all of these qualities are present in Bhagavan. Hence, this is, so when we look at these items, these entities, they are also, some of them may be in singular, but they are also having collections inside them, collection inside them. They are not a single entity. It's a entity which is representing a collection of entities. It's a word which represents collection of entities. A good example, for example, here is when it says column. We are going to see that. I'm just giving as an example here. When it says column, it's time. It says time is resting on Bhagavan. Now, we saw that the word Naraha means a collection of group of entities. So, column, though it's a single entity seemingly, it has its own collection of aspects like year, month, fortnight, and then hours, minutes, and so on. So, even in that heading, time, there is a collection of entities. So, in any of them, when we see, for example, Baddhatma. Baddhatma means, again, it's a collection of many Atmas. So, even though there may be only one item represented here, even that is having many entities inside it. So, that also have to be remembered here. So first collection is Jnanananda Amalattvadigalam. So these are the qualities which directly identify Bhagavan. That is Jnanam, Anandam, Amalattvam and Anantatvam. So this Jnanam means having knowledge, consciousness, and then Anandam, bliss. Amalattvam means being very pure, not contaminated in any way, and Anantam, being endless. These are specific qualities for Bhagavan which highlight him. And then next, Jnana Shakti Adikal. So this is the collection of 6 qualities: Jnanam, Jnana Bala, Aishwarya, Virya, Shakti, Tejas. So these qualities, these 6 qualities are the primary qualities. The word Bhagavan is represented by these qualities. One who has these 6 main qualities is called Bhagavan. So in some cases we see Narada Bhagavan, and then Valmiki Bhagavan, Vyasa Bhagavan. In those cases, in those entities, the Bhagavan is a honorary term. A real term Bhagavan will only mean Sriman Narayana. In all other cases, it is only a honorary term, because the word Bhagavan itself means one who has Jnanam, Balam, Aishwaryam, Viryam, Shakti, Tejas. These 6 qualities in full. It must be full. There is no shortcoming in any of these aspects, any of these qualities, and the person, that Bhagavan, also must have it on his own. It is not borrowed from somebody else. It is not given by the grace of somebody else. He has to have them naturally. That is the real meaning of the word Bhagavan. So those set of qualities are highlighted here. That is the next collection. And then Vatsalya Saushilyaadigalam. These are the qualities such as Vatsalyam, Saushilyam. So there is 6 primary qualities, and from those 6 primary qualities, these other qualities are derived, or the other qualities are seen from these base foundational 6 qualities. What are these qualities? Vatsalyam, Saushilyam, Swamitvam, Saukumaryam, Saulabhyam, and so many qualities. These are all auspicious qualities which rest on Bhagavan. And then there is Tirumeni. Again, this word Tirumeni is a divine, it means divine Vigraha, divine form. So even though this word is a singular word, it still represents a collection in itself. Here, Bhagavan's divine form in Paramapadam as Sri Vaikunthanatha is the primary form, but there are also innumerable forms which Bhagavan has. In the Vyuha state, he has separate forms. In Vibhavavataram, he has many different forms. In Archavataram, he has many different forms. So even though the word says Tirumeni, which is a singular word to identify divine Vigraha, divine form, it is also a collection in itself. And then there is Kanti Saukumarya Adigaram, and other qualities which relate to the divine form. Now we have seen some qualities which relate to his Swarupa, his natural state. But there are also qualities which relate to his divine form. Because we are seeing these qualities, Kanti, Saukumarya Adikal, that is Kanti, Saukumarya, etc. After seeing the divine form, then we have to relate that with the divine form, the qualities which are specific to the divine forms. These are like radiance, his Saukumarya, that is softness, Saundarya, beauty. So many other qualities like that are explained here. Mamunigal also beautifully recollects what other acharyas, previous acharyas have quoted. For example, Periyavachan Pillai has quoted certain things. He shows them. In this manner, he is also quoting other acharyas who have explained the same thing in detail in previous granthams. So that is Tirumeni, Kanti Saukumarya Adigal. Then Divya Bhushana, then the collection of his divine ornaments. They are also resting on Bhagavan. And then Divya Ayudha, his divine weapons, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Asi. Sharangam. So all of these weapons like the conch, the disc, the mace and so on, all of his bow, all of these weapons, they are all resting on Bhagavan. And then Periya Piratiyar Todakkamana Naichimargalum. So there are innumerable divine consorts for Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the Purushottama and he has many spouses, many divine consorts who are all very beloved for him. Starting with Periya Piratiyar. See, Mahalakshmi is the primary consort. All of them, all of the other consorts, all of the other Patnis of Bhagavan, they all assist Sri Mahalakshmi in giving joy to Bhagavan. So those divine consorts are also highlighted here. Shri Vallabha, Evam Bhutha, Bhumi Neela Nayaka. These pramanams are quoted by Mamunigal. Wherever such pramanams are there, we can see that Shri Mahalakshmi is first highlighted because she is the primary consort. She is the main consort of Bhagavan. So all of those divine consorts are highlighted. Next, Nityasuris. Nityasuris are one category of Jivatmas. Jivatmas are categorized into three: Nityasuris, Muktatmas and Baddhatmas. We are going to see all three of them here. First, Nityasuris are highlighted. Nityasuris are those who are eternal servitors of Bhagavan. They never separate from Bhagavan. They always serve him. They remain with him in Paramadam, and when he takes incarnations, they also come along with him and serve him. So these Nityasuris, starting with Ananta, Garuda, Vishwaksena, and there are many other innumerable Nityasuris who are in Paramapadam. They are all serving Bhagavan. They are also resting on Bhagavan only. And then Chatra Chamara Adigal. Chatra Chamara. So these are all equipments or tools which are used in Bhagavan's Kankaryam. Even those are resting on Bhagavan. Everything is resting on Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the Adharam for everyone. That is the main principle to be understood here. And a sample of those entities are highlighted here. Pillalokacharya has carefully identified all the potential categories, and there will be subdivisions, there will be other entities which are not explained here, but they will fall under one of these categories. He has highlighted all the categories under which any of these other aspects will also be counted. So all this Chatram, Chamaram, the umbrella, just like an emperor will have an umbrella which identifies that he is the Chakravarti, he is the leader of the whole kingdom. Similarly, Bhagavan has his own Chatram, then Chamara. Chamara is the whisk which is used in his service to bring air for him. Then there is fan, and then there will be many other equipments, many other tools which are present for his service. Those are all also resting on Bhagavan. And then Tiruvasal Kakkum Mudaligal. These are the gatekeepers or the guards which are guarding the entrance, such as Jaya Vijaya, Chanda Prachanda, Bhadra, Subhadra. These are all different gatekeepers of Bhagavan. We can see even in temples there will be Jaya Vijaya generally, and then Chanda Prachanda will be there, Bhadra, Subhadra will be there. Depending on the direction, there will be different gatekeepers. They are always present and they are always carrying and protecting Bhagavan. And then there is Ganadipa. Ganadipa means those who are leaders of the servitors. And there are many of them: Kumuda, Kumudaksha, Pundarika, Vamana, Shangukarna, Sarpanetra, Sumana, Supratishta. These are all many entities many personalities who are the leaders of the servitors. So it is like many divisions of servitors are there. So each division is headed by one particular personality. So these are the many such personalities are present. And then Muktatmas are known as Karaikandor in Tamil. Karaikandor means one who has seen the shore, one who has crossed over the ocean. these are the ones who were present in samsara before, and then they were liberated by Bhagavan. They were accepted by Bhagavan to enter into the Sri Vaikuntham and to engage in eternal service. Those are known as Muktatmas, and they are serving at par with Nityasuris. Even those Muktatmas, once they reach Paramapadam, they will be able to serve in the same way as Nityasuris are serving Bhagavan. There will be no difference in them while in context of serving Bhagavan. And these Muktatmas are also innumerable. They are countless Atmas who have been liberated already. And then there is Paramakasham. Paramakasham means this Paramapadam, Sri Vaikuntham, which is constructed based on Panchopanishad. The matter in Paramapadam also there is matter, just like we have matter here, material objects. There also material objects are there, but there the matter is divine. It is known as it is made of the matter there in Paramapadam is made of Pancha Upanishad. Here in material world the matter is made of Pancha Bhuta. There is earth, water, fire, air and space or ether. So these five elements make all the elements are composed of these five great elements. All the entities are composed of these. But in Paramapadam they are made of Pancha Upanishad. And because here also Paramakasham is a singular word, but even that is a collection because it is made of the five different types of Upanishads, five different types of entities. So there also it's a collection. And the same thing is emphasized by Periyavachan Pillai also. Panchopanishad mayamagayale Paramapadamum samuhatmakamai irukkum. So Periyavachan Pillai also says the same thing in his Rahasya Grantham. So oftentimes Manawal Mamnigal quotes Periyavachan Pillai and other acharyas to support the commentary here. So that is all the up to Paramakasham is explained here. So Mamnigal is giving a brief summary for whatever has been explained so far. So by Jnanananda Amalatvadigalam up to here, the aspects which relate to Bhagavan in an eternal way is explained. So first Jnanananda Amalatvadigalam, that explained the Swarupa Dharmam, and then Swarupa Dharmam are the most intrinsic identity, the qualities which identify the Atma or entity, an entity here. So Bhagavan is identified by his Jnanam, his Anandam, his Amalatvam, and then his Anantatvam. So those qualities are first highlighted, and then Nirupita Swarupa Visheshana qualities, that is certain qualities which are explained after establishing a particular entity. For example, the difference between Swarupa Nirupaka Dharmam and Nirupita Swarupa Dharmam is, let's say, we establish that this person is a human being first. The qualities of being a human being is first explained. After that we say this person is tall, this person is stout, this person is fair. So those are all qualities which are identified after establishing the identity of the entity. So that is Nirupita Swarupa Visheshana. So those qualities are explained, and then the divine form which highlights these qualities and the qualities of the divine form, they are explained, and then the divine ornaments which are decorating Bhagavan's divine form they are explained, and then the weapons which are explained as the ones which are always with Bhagavan, the divine weapons, they are explained next. After that, this Bhagavan who is decorated with these ornaments, weapons, these auspicious qualities, he is enjoyed by Sri Mahalakshmi and all his other consorts, that is explained. And then there is gatekeepers who are carefully guarding this Bhagavan and all the consorts, the Nityasuris who are serving Bhagavan and all his consorts, and then the tools which are used by them, that is Chatra, Chamara, etc., they are highlighted, and then the gatekeepers as we saw, and then there is the Ganadipas who are again leading all the servitors and caring for the whole Paramapadam, and then Muktatmas who were liberated from this material world reached Paramapadam, and they are serving along with Nityasuris without any differentiation, any difference. And finally, the abode where all of these service are done, where this Bhagavan is given eternal pleasure by all of these entities, and that abode is called Paramapadam, and that is mercifully explained by Pillalokacharya. Now, in the subsequent section of the Sutram, we are going to see what are all the entities which are present in the Leela Vibhuti. Until now, the entities which are present in the Nitya Vibhuti are explained. Further, Pillalokacharya's explanation goes on to the Leela Vibhuti entities, and Mamunigal is giving the commentary for that section here. So, Leela Vibhuti is the world which keeps changing. There is constant change in this world. Universes are created, universes are sustained, and universes are destroyed constantly. This is a cycle. Innumerable universes are present in the material world, and these universes, they are all self-sufficient. Each universe is headed by Brahma, and then there are so many devatas, starting with Brahma, Rudra, Indra, Varuna, and so many of them. And then there will be human beings, there will be birds, animals, and many entities who are all present in these universes. So we are going to see this next section. So Leela Vibhuti, first Prakriti. So he starts with Prakriti. Prakriti is the Mula Prakriti, that is primordial matter, which has three types of qualities: Sattvam, Rajas, and Tamas. When these three are in balance, usually everything is in unmanifest state. When manifestation happens, that is when creation happens, these qualities will not be in equal composition, they will be in different composition, they will be in different portions. That is when we will see manifest state of the universes. So this Mula Prakriti, even though again is a singular word, it is again a collection of three qualities: Sattva, Rajas, Tamo Gunangal, these Tamo qualities. So this is also a collection. So again and again, Mamunigal establishes that even though there is singular word, each word represents a collection. And then there is Baddhatmakal. After Mula Prakriti, Baddhatmas are explained. These are the Atmas who are bound in this samsara since time immemorial. Anadikala bondage for all these Atmas who are present in samsara. Everyone stands a chance to be liberated by the grace of Bhagavan, but they have been in the samsaram since time immemorial. There is no beginning for when they came into samsara, because samsara is eternal, karma is eternal, and Atmas are also, Atmas who are present in samsara, they are also eternally present. So there is no starting point, or there is no other place from where the Atmas have come here. They have always been present here only, and they all stand a chance to be liberated and to reach Nitya Vibhuti, Paramapadam. So that is Baddhatmas. They are all the Atmas who are like buried in this samsara. Just like gold is buried inside the gold mineral. For example, when gold is taken from the earth, it is not in the form which we see today. It is mixed with so many other sand particles and so on. But the goldsmith knows how to separate the gold from the other unwanted materials. Similarly, Atma is also buried in this samsara. Bhagavan can separate Atma from samsara and deliver and liberate the Atma. So Atmas are here in this samsara. Those Atmas, they are also resting on Bhagavan. All of these entities are resting on Bhagavan. That is the main point here. And then there is Kalam. Kalam means time. Time also, even though it is a singular word, it has many differences such as day, night, morning, evening, afternoon, fortnight, week, month, year, seasons, and so many different combinations are there. Here also, this time also is an Achit entity only. Usually Achit is classified into Suddha Sattvam, Mishra Sattvam, and then Sattva Sunyam. That is, Suddha Sattvam means pure goodness. All the matter which is in Paramapadam, they are all in Shuddha Sattvam quality. And then in Samsara, there are many entities, all of them are likely in the Mishra Sattvam state. That is, there is some goodness, but there is always passion and ignorance also in the entities, in matter, in this material world. And time is known as Sattva Shunyam, that is, there is no qualities in that. Though it says Sattvam, it is identifying there are no other qualities, that the time itself on its own has no specific qualities, but it has divisions. So this time is the next entity which is explained. Now up to here, it is Mula Prakriti, Baddhatma and Kalam, they are all Swarupena Nitya. That is, these entities, that is Mula Prakriti, Jivatma, who is bound in this material world, and time, all these three entities, they are naturally eternal. That is, they don't have any change in their true nature. They remain the same. But subsequent to these three entities, the other entities, they are all Pravaha Rupena Nitya. That means they are Nitya, they are eternal. They are also eternal. All the entities, like in our Sampradaya, in our Siddhanta, in Vedantam, properly explained, Chit, Achit and Ishvara, all three entities are eternal only. They are all Nitya. But Chit and Achit are Swarupena Nitya. Chit and Ishvara are Swarupena Nitya. In Achit, certain entities are Swarupena Nitya, certain entities are Pravaha Rupena Nitya. Pravaha Rupena Nitya means it's a continuous stream. For example, there is soil. From the soil, a pot is made. Or there is cotton, from cotton, cloth is made. Now, the cotton and cloth are different forms of the same material. Cotton form is one form, cloth form is another form. So here there is Pravaha Rupena Nityatvam. The cotton, the underlying cotton is eternal. It is not destroyed. It is still there. But in the case of Atma, it is Nitya, it is Swarupena Nitya. The Atma itself never changes. It is always the same Atma. It is always having the same quality and same composition, same form. So there is a difference here, even in the entities in Leela Vibhuti, there is Swarupena Nitya entities, Pravaha Rupena Nitya entities. So whatever we have seen until now, they are all Swarupena Nitya entities. Whatever we are going to see now, they are all Pravaha Rupena Nitya entities. Those are Mahatadi Vikarangalum, these transformations starting from Mahat. So from Mula Prakriti there is Mahan, and from that there is Ahankara, and then there is Manasa, and then there is Pancha Indriya, Karmendriya, Jnanendriya, and then Pancha Bhuta, and then Pancha Tanmatra. These are all the various Achit entities. So all of these are considered in the Mahatadi Vikarangal. So the Vikaras, the different transformations, they are in 23 Tattvams. That is Mahan, Ahankara, then Manas, that is mind. So we have three entities here, and then 5 karmendriyas, the sense organs of action. And then there is 5 jnanendriyas, 5 organs of knowledge. And then there is panchabhuta, 5 great elements. And then pancha tanmatra, the 5 subtle aspects of the elements. So these 23 elements are highlighted here by Mahatadi Vikarangal. And then there is Andangal. Andangal means Anda means oval shaped universe. All of these Andas, the universes, they are all created as a result of the transformation of the Mahan. From Mahan, the transformation happens. It is known as Panchikaranam. Bhagavan does this Panchikaranam activity during every Srishti. With this Panchikaranam, he mixes different elements and then he creates the universe. And then he chooses a particular entity as Brahma, and then he lets rest of the creation happen under the guidance of Brahma. He remains as the Antaryami and guides Brahma and makes Brahma do the creation. So all of that universe, the Anda here represents the oval shaped universe. Andanantu Sahasranam Sahasrani Ayutani cha. This is from Vishnu Puranam. This particular Pramanam explains that there are thousands of innumerable universes, oval shaped universes. We are in a particular oval shaped universe. In this particular Anda, we are present in the Bhuloka. In this particular Anda, at the top, that is Brahmaloka, Satyaloka, there is Brahma. Similarly, there are so many thousands and innumerable number of oval shaped universes. Each one has one Brahma, each one has one Rudra, each one has one Indra and Varuna and so forth. So there are so many Andas and each one have their own set of these Devatas and so on. So those are explained next. Andathukutpatta Devadi Padarthangalum. So these, every Anda, every universe has many entities inside the Anda. Andantaravarti, that means those who are present inside the Anda. And that is starting with Deva, Manushya, Tiryak, Stavara. All these 4 types of entities are there. Deva means celestial beings, starting with Brahma. And then there is Manushya, human beings. And then there is birds, animals, immovable plants, trees, rocks, rivers and so on. So many entities are there. All of those entities, they are all counted under the Nara word. So all of these, starting from Bhagavan's qualities, Bhagavan's divine weapons, Bhagavan's divine ornaments, the divine consorts, Sri Mahalakshmi and so on, Nityasuris, Muktatmas, Paramapadam, Mula Prakriti, Baddhatmas, and then all the Andams, all the residents of the Andams, all of these, everything is counted under the term Nara. What does that mean? That means everything is resting on Bhagavan. Naraha Ayanam Yaha Saha Narayanaha. So Narayana is the abode for all of the entities. That is one way of explaining it. So Bhagavan here is shown, he is the one who holds everyone together here. So that is 97th Sutram. That's a very elaborate one. Now we'll see 98th Sutram. Mamnigal gives a brief introduction. Here Pillokacharya is mercifully explaining the Ayana Padam, the word Ayana. So Nara, so we have seen what is Naraha. Now we have to see what is Ayana. That Ayana is explained here by Pillokacharya. Ayanam என்றது இவற்றுக்கு ஆශ්‍රயம் என்றபடி. So 98th Sutram is Ayanam என்றது இவற்றுக்கு ஆශ්‍රயம் என்றபடி. Ashrayam means refuge or the resting place. So Ayanam, when it is said, when Bhagavan is said as the Ayanam, that means he is the abode for all of these entities. Ivatruku means for these entities. For these, all of these we have seen in the last 97th Sutram in the elaborate Sutram, Sarvapalli Lokacharya explained each of those entities. So for all of those entities, Bhagavan is the abode, resting place. That is explained in this Ayanam. That is Ayana Shabdam. This word Ayana is having the meaning refuge or abode. We can say that Bhagavan is the refuge or abode for all of these entities. That is the explanation for 98th Sutram. Subsequently, we will see 99. From 99th Sutram, we are going to see the other meaning of Narayana Padam, Narayana word. We will see that in the next session. Alvar Emberumanar, Jiyar Tiruvadigalai Sharanam, Jiyar Tiruvadigalai Sharanam.
To learn such valuable information about our Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, please download Koyil, K-O-Y-I-L app from Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Our website is koyil.org, Koyil.org.